What up, everybody? It's y'all boy Solo Foe, and I'm back with another episode of So What's the Issue? And today I'm going to be talking about a little bit of a bias. And I know it's going to be a strange topic, and it's like a delicate topic in my mind. So, something that I've always been concerned about or curious about why it's okay to do and why people don't feel the need to cancel certain people in the situation. Why is it okay for people to make fun of younger boys whenever they got molested or raped or whatever it is? Why are people allowed to weaponize that in their older years? Like one of the biggest examples about it, famous examples, is Hassan Campbell. We just heard what's his name? Kevin Gates do an interview not too long ago where he came out about it and stuff like that. Now, Kevin Gates is a little bit of a different animal. I don't think too many people are really going to pick with him or whatever. But I really want to know why we've had famous celebrities actually talk about other famous celebrities or even in common life, niggas talking about, like, nigga, didn't you get raped? Didn't you get touched on as a little boy? Ha ha. Why is it okay to weaponize what a boy went through when he was younger? Because it's always been a delicate topic when it comes to females. You're not allowed to approach that situation with any type of funniness, which I do agree. There's nothing funny about this topic at all. There's nothing that anybody should be making a joke about when it comes to anybody being molested or touched on. But I think that we've came to a point, which always, we've never been sensitive to younger boys when they've been molested or when they've been touched on and stuff like that. And even nowadays, when people be talking about boys that be down low and stuff like that, I'm not saying that all guys that are down low have been molested or touched on. I do not believe that. I want to make that a firm understanding. I do not believe that every young boy that has been touched on, every young boy that is down low has been touched on at some point in time. I don't think that's true. But I do think that it's something to be cautious on whenever y'all do talk about down low men, because I don't know what we don't know what's going through their mind whenever they're, engaging in an activity with a transsexual person or even an actual just gay boy. Like, we don't know which people have been, done or, been touched or have thoughts going through their mind because things happened to them when they were young. So we get off on being funny about basically who we get off on being funny about niggas being touched on, niggas being whatever. And I think that it's something that you should be a little bit more sensitive to whenever you go to talk about certain people, because we don't know what the fuck may have happened in a person's life. So when y'all talk about a person battling demons and stuff like that, what if a nigga really is battling some type of demons and you just don't know it? Because how comfortable has the world made it for a man to comfortably come out and say, hey, as a kid, this thing happened to me? I hear people joking about the Hassan Campbell thing, and they're like, "Ha ha, that nigga got thighed," or a nigga was rubbing his shit up against a nigga's thigh. Like, what's funny about a nigga doing that to a little kid? Even if you feel like the top by the time of 17, Hassan Campbell probably should have been smart enough or old enough to come out of whatever it was that he was doing to him or whatever. But y'all don't take the time to actually understand what a person has gone through, because it's not that first day. It's not that second day. It's a build up over years. If a nigga is constantly doing something to a little boy in the time that he's going through his growing years, why wouldn't he think that it's regular? Why wouldn't that he think that that's a part of his actual life? And I'm not saying it like he couldn't have ever fought back, but some people don't take the time to recognize, like, everybody isn't as strong-minded as the next person. Everybody isn't as, I don't even know what to call this. You're blaming the victim for being in the situation that he was in. Yeah, he could have eventually grabbed a knife and cut that nigga. Yeah, he could have eventually did something, but he didn't. He didn't go down that route. I don't blame somebody that was intentionally put through something through. And I've heard more about Hassan Campbell than I have about the nigga that he's accusing to be the person that did something to him. I don't know if everybody knows about this, but there was a famous situation where Soldier Boy said something about Bow Wow being touched on by his security guard. And it's like, why is that okay? Why why would it ever be okay for anybody to ever bring it up like, hey, I'm going to weaponize something that you went through, a trauma in your life, and I'm going to use it against you, whether it's, even if it's on a celebrity level, niggas is taking shots at each other, if it's lying or not, niggas is telling the truth or lying. I don't think this is a subject that should be joked with. Like, it's so quick. We so quick to defend women, which, like I said, I do think that we should defend women. Like, I don't think that anybody should be left out on the whatever. But it's crazy how we see how serious it is when it comes to a little girl being touched. We don't weaponize it. Maybe some females, but I don't think that it's a real thing where females really weaponize females getting touched by their fathers, uncles, babysitters, whoever it is. I don't see that on the internet the way that I have seen niggas talk about Hassan Campbell, or if the Bow Wow situation is true. But joking about this, why? Like, can we take some time to be sensitive to what people may have or may not have went through? And yeah, it might be a grown person. It might be a 24-year-old boy that is experimenting into whatever. But who's to say that the nigga didn't go through something to make these thoughts be pushed in his head? I'm not saying, once again, I am not going to sit here and make it seem like every little boy that has ever, no, not my bad, not that way. I don't mean to say that every down low guy or every guy that is willing to go and experiment with a transgender or a gay person, I'm not saying that every single one of them have been touched on, but I think that a lot more men have been touched on than what people would like to admit or would like to recognize. You can make a post and it say something, because you know how they do, I was 13, I was this, I was that. How many straight boys do y'all see saying, I was this age, I was that age? And there are sick people in this world. There are people out here that will touch on little boys, whether it's their own cousins, whether it's their uncles, whether it's just a babysitter. We don't know what situation niggas, because we automatically assume because we leave a boy in the presence of another boy that nothing's gonna happen. Just as much as something could happen with a little girl, something could happen with your little boy. But people are so quick to just be funny, like, hey, this down low nigga's finally out the closet. We finally experimenting with him. What about the mental illness side of it? If a nigga really was, like, I don't want to bring up nobody's name, but we know some famous examples in Louisville of niggas being exposed and shit like that. And I'm not, like I said, I don't know these people personally. I don't know what these people went through growing up. I don't know anything about these people. But at the same time, when y'all see them get exposed for sleeping with a tranny, who knows what demons this little boy been fighting back all these years, because he may have been touched on when he was 6, and these thoughts been going through his mind about what happened to him, and he's more, and I don't want to say more prone to falling into being susceptible to try to, I don't want to say understand what happened to him, but to experiment, to be like, hey, because I'm thinking about this shit so much, is that the reason? Is it because I like it? Is it because I accepted it? Is it because I was at fault? Is it because, which I don't know all the reasons that a young boy that was touched on would feel the need to go and actually experiment on the things that they, had happen to them as a kid. I don't know all the reasons. But when y'all go out here and y'all make these posts where y'all trying to be funny or try to scrutinize a person? Is there anything behind it before y'all do that? Do y'all want to, or is it just fuck a nigga because it's a nigga? I could I do that to a girl that I don't like? And I would never do it, but could I just be like, hey, I don't like that girl, so yeah, fuck her and her getting raped. I hope her daddy had all the fun. Like what type of sense does that make? That really makes me sound like a dickhead. But we have no type of attention to it because the men in our community that have been touched on that want to display themselves as straight men, even the ones that's never experimented, they will never come out and confide in another human being that they have been touched on. They will hold those emotions in for their entire life and really be going through something in their mind and never actually come out and be like, hey, like I'm struggling with some shit that happened whenever I was a kid. Like, and that should make you feel a type of way. People be talking about men, come speak to us. Men, come out and if I come out and tell the truth and I tell the world like what happened to me as a child, am I going to be able to skate around life and not be judged? Or am I going to be looked at as a fag? Am I going to be looked at as a gay person? Are people going to sit there and ridicule me once the cat's out the bag, figuratively speaking, that, something happened to me? It's not always just two little boys experimenting, playing, and having fun. There are older men that are just as sick to touch a little kid on the girl side that would be willing to touch a little boy because they want to get their dick off. There's overly horny ass niggas. Y'all know niggas that will fuck junkies, people with AIDS. They will, if they can get their dick off, people are going to do it. There's men that are out here that will do it. And there's a lot of boys, which, biasly, I will say boys don't take it so bad when it's a girl that did it to them. But a lot of boys have also been touched on by females as well as kids. That's a large thing too. But we don't see, you might see a little bit more of niggas exposing the fact that they got to sleep with XYZ. They might not say it if that was their cousin or some shit like that. But niggas will boast about, hey, I slept with this person, my babysitter, whenever I was young. Niggas will boast about that shit. So, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it, but I'm saying niggas is a little bit more okay mentally. But I don't know what the mindset is of a boy, like we said, that actually has been touched by a grown-ass man and somebody that forced him to, even if it wasn't full penetration, even if it was just oral or a hand job or something, like, how do y'all not take the time to think about that? Yeah, you don't know. Yes, I will admit, none of us know who has and who hasn't. So yes, you can only judge all situations based off of what you have going on. But I do think now that we have this invention called the internet, when y'all see these boys getting exposed or whatever, is there anything else to it? Is there literally anything else to it? Could y'all stop for 1 second before y'all want to get y'all coo on and be like, ha ha, you got caught with a tranny? Before y'all get caught up with all of that, is there any type of thought to say, hey, wait a minute, you know what? Is there a reason? Or is anybody ever going to text him and say, hey, are you okay, bro? Like, I get that, you just had this situation or whatever. And I mean, I want to be a confident voice for you to talk to, and I will never go off and tell the world, but did anything happen to you? I mean, like, if you want to be in that bag, it's okay and it's fine for you to be in that bag. If you want to go and do that, hey, more power to you. If you feel like you want to be DL on purpose because you don't want the ridicule, more power to you. But when y'all see these situations come about, how many of y'all is picking up the phone, hey, XYZ? Do you want to talk? Because, I know men don't like to talk about it a lot, but, if you experienced anything as a child, we can get you some help or anything like that. And I'm not saying that everybody that is down low needs help. I'm not saying that. But at the same time, when y'all go to ridicule, why don't y'all ever stop to even think what somebody else may have had happen to them. That's the reason why I'm not quick on this judging people thing. People are so quick to judge people about having herpes, having AIDS, being down low. But I'm gonna tell y'all two things about, well, one thing about STD that's very important that everybody should understand. You don't know who the fuck has it. And if a person does not disclose to you who has what, yes, you can be the macho person or the whatever person, woke person after the situation's over and say, yeah, you should have probably went and got him checked out. How many times do y'all do that? How many times do y'all literally in common life actually tell people to go to the clinic and actually get checked out? Is that something that y'all really do in y'all real life? So when a nigga or a female does something to somebody that harms them, y'all quick to laugh and joke at them, joke on them like there might not be something more to the story. Yeah, we know that there's a lot of people that fuck a lot of people. We know that shit happens, but at the same time, we got to start learning to be a little bit more sensitive. I'm not saying that if a nigga was your enemy at one point in time, you don't, and you feel like you got one up on them. All right, fine, cool, I get it. But a lot of y'all don't be that deep rooted. A lot of y'all just see a story on Facebook and like, oh, another person down low got exposed. Another person for herpes got exposed. Oh, another person for AIDS got exposed. Let me ha 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 ha. Let me see if I can say a burn joke that nobody's ever heard before. I'm sorry. We've heard all the down low jokes. We've heard all the burn jokes. Why is it still funny? Why, especially the people, and maybe for the people that are 22, 23, because they ain't really been on the internet. Well, they have, but I'm not saying it for exposed life that long. But for the people that are 28, 30, 35, 40, why the fuck are y'all still getting on the internet acting like it's the biggest laugh in the world that somebody might be potentially going through some type of pain? It's not funny. And imagine the worst time of your life being broadcasted. And I'm surprised we don't have more suicides off just the back of that. And I do know that there are people that have committed suicide behind different things that go on. Maybe we don't know as many stories and things like that. Things have happened. But what about the ones that haven't, that really sat in their bedroom all alone, just looking like, damn, I don't want to pick up the phone because look, everybody in the entire city is against me. I'm never gonna be able to find love in this life because my shit's on front page news and whatever. And I will tell y'all one thing. There are some people that did it to other people back in the day that now now that they situations are starting to come out, I'm a little bit more okay with like how now y'all see what y'all put other people through. Don't cry whenever it's your turn, because you don't know what day your husband or wife is going to go out and cheat on you. You don't know what's going on in the back of a person's mind whenever they go out there and they go and experiment with another guy. I don't know that. You don't know that. But can we be a little bit more sympathetic to the thought process that, you know, our world ain't the biggest world, because some people are actually going through real life shit that might actually be hurting them inside. And what y'all find as a dollar laugh because it's something cheap on Facebook that entertains you. Everything that entertains you shouldn't be funny. You should be able to laugh on your own and not feel the need to share the worst part of somebody's life just because it's funny to you. Oh, damn, them herpes is eating that motherfucker up over there. And man, that AIDS over there killing y'all niggas. Like, we 30 at this point. We 20. And this is what we want to do to each other. We want to continue to act like other people's worst time in their life is the best time of ours. That's that. And I appreciate Solo Crystal, Crystal. I'm sorry if I botched her name, but I appreciate y'all for tuning in. That's just my small thoughts on it. You know, hopefully y'all enjoy that. If y'all liked it, I'll do another part to it. But those is my quick thoughts. Man, we got to start learning to stick together and not ripping each other down, because somebody might actually need your hand. And even if they don't kill themselves, what if they resort to drugs? What if they resort to, who the fuck knows what a person might resort to when they really just needed a friend to know, like, hey, you know, everything's going to be all right. You know, it's a big world, and, you know, you still got a chance to be an actual human. people need that in life. Because I could only imagine sitting there by myself having to deal with that in my own room because somebody didn't tell me something. Somebody didn't, whatever. That's just ornery and wrong. And y'all thrive off of fucking orneriness and wrongness. That's just whatever. But, I guess that's a little bit different from the download situation. But I say all of that to group it together to say just be a little bit more courteous. Like, it doesn't need a share. It doesn't need an actual laugh. It can just stay on that one person's page and not be exposed to the entire city. But shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for listening. Hopefully y'all tune in with me on another one. Peace out. Drop y'all comments and everything like that. Much